Yes, guys! Welcome back to another episode of the Bootcast podcast. I didn't include already this time, Colby, for our faithful listeners.
Yeah.
Colby, man, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing real good. This was a good week, man, because the boys finished up this week. It's a good show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just finished
Heck
that
yeah.
last episode. It was
How
good.
was it?
It was pretty shot. They killed somebody I didn't think they were going to kill on there.
Okay.
And, that was pretty
No
shocking.
spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. No spoilers. Yeah, and then I had to get my fix in, and I started that Invincible show yesterday. Oh my gosh.
Banger. Where are
So
you at?
good.
Are you in season 1?
Season 1. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. This show so good.
So good. Yeah.
So
All right.
good.
I know it's soccer football boots podcast. So
No, that's okay. It's okay.
yeah.
Yeah, for me it's been an okay week. It's just been kind of boring. I just filmed the F50 Plus video, so hopefully I can have a review out pretty soon. Yeah, other than that, nothing too crazy in my life. It's just hot, and it's still pretty hot again tonight. So sorry again, guys.
Yeah, Justin, he chooses to film out of his garage, and we should all.
I'm telling you, bro. Ty Lopez, you're in my garage. All right, Colby. So this is episode 4. Do you have a jersey number 4 wear that you would like to shout out?
All right, well, we should really kind of make this technical. I think this is episode 32, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
but
Is it 32?
we have started over with our players. So
Yes.
my pick for number 4 is 4 at Real Madrid currently, because I hate the guy that was number 4 before that. So David Alaba. So I'm gonna pick.
Very nice.
Solid.
Very nice shout.
Probably better at Bayern Munich, but yeah, still counts.
I mean, I don't know. He won a double with Madrid.
That's true. Yeah.
How many Champions Leagues does he have now? 2? Does he have any with Bayern, or are they all
He
Madrid?
should have one with Bayern.
One with Bayern and the rest with Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Maybe two, because didn't Bayern beat PSG somewhat recently? I don't know. They'll let us know in the comments. Nevin is gonna let us know. Yeah, he always.
I didn't do my homework, so I don't have a number 4 today.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know. I'm slacking. I didn't think about it. I've been kind of busy today cleaning, and I moved inside the garage. I moved my whole studio setup and rearranged everything. So I've just been slammed all day. So sorry, viewers. And I'm gonna come up with a new game. We got to come up with a new game soon.
For sure.
We've already gone through all the jerseys. I'm gonna figure out a new game for us.
Yeah.
All right, Colby. So there's a couple of topics that you wanted to get into today. You've been texting me. You've been on it.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. Lead the way.
All right, man. I'm gonna start off with a personal topic of mine. These arrived today.
Hey!
Yes, sir.
They finally came in.
Yes, dude. This is why I listen to you now. Because this is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
White gold F50s. I'm excited, dude. And got the comfort insoles.
Oh yeah.
Nice suede.
All right. So here's my question for you: when James and I think a couple of our friends, Ricky, I know, they said that the purple chameleons felt different to the advancement pack.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the last name? The red, white, and blues. Did those feel any different to you than the advancement packs, like the upper? Or not really?
Not really. You know what? It's weird because I don't know if it's because it's white and on the other model it's completely kind of blue on this toe box area here, so you can actually see way more of the grip elements. I probably can't catch it on camera because my camera's so bad, but yeah, you can see a lot more of the bumps and ridges of the sprint web, and it's kind of cool on these white ones too, because you can actually see the little compression tunnel tongue through. I can visibly see that, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm so excited for these, man.
Those are a classy pair.
But
they're very Benzema-esque to me.
Yeah, it's so nice. I will say though, it's funny because just there's so much freaking grip on the top of these, and then when I play on my hybrid touches and indoor, it's freaking I won't say it's slippery, but it's just you have to get used to it. It's a different style.
Yeah. I said that with the Sprint Web 3D texturing or whatever, that it's one of those technologies that in the moment I don't really feel it or notice a difference, but it's one of those things where I'd rather have it and not need it than need it / want it and not have it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when you don't have it, when I don't have it on my turfs, I do notice it. I'm like, oh crap, I actually gotta,
Really?
I don't have any help here. Yeah.
That's I guess because I like boots that I guess, are control-ish boots. So they always tend to have some kind of texturing to them.
Yeah. And I think you can kind of overdo it a little bit with control boots. Like on the Predators, I don't really notice the rubber elements on the medial side. But with the GX2s, I definitely noticed it being like kind of a little bit more grippy than I was used to. How to get used to that.
Yeah, definitely. And well, that kind of leads me into my thoughts, because I don't know if you saw today, but Andrew Lockhart, our friend Lockhart Boot Blog, put out his review of the Vapor 16. And he was talking about the waxy sensation that boot has, but he said it was definitely like way less noticeable than the GX2.
Yep.
What do you think about that? Because we're talking about grip elements, so I want to ask you this question before my brain like totally throws it out the window.
I think it's good, because you and I were both, before we, had everybody else's impressions, because we obviously still don't have them in hand, but we were like, dude, why would you put the same exact material on, this silo versus this silo? And from what I've heard from like James and Lockhart and other people, is it's really not as noticeable as it is on the GX2. And so I think, like we were saying, like, that kind of separates it. And they say that that was Andrew's, like, I don't want to like spoil his entire review for people that are going to go read it, but the upper was his favorite part of the boot.
Yeah.
And like the thinness and like the quality of it. And so it seems like and that's not something, I mean, the GX2 was pretty good. It's not the best upper I've ever had. It's definitely well fitting. It's a good volume boot. But it seems like that almost separates it in itself from something like the GX2, regardless of whether that grip knit is there or not, and like how much. So, seems like from what everybody said about it, it is like its own thing.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I think is cool. And I think the part that kind of I thought was kind of interesting / I guess wonky is the best way I could put it, was he said where the swoosh is, there's not really any like grip knit. It's a lot like slicker. And then it made me think about, remember when Nike was doing the GT series, and they're talking about, like we've done all this science to put the texture, and their texture like perfectly was like in the spot of a Nike swoosh.
Yes.
So it's Nike just so weird about that. Like they're so good about being like, hey, we have this crazy grip technology, and where you would touch the ball the most, it's not even there.
It was so, well, the whole point of, like, I'm trying to remember exactly, but like the GT1 was like, oh, it's this generative texture, and it's put in a way where like the elements are like right here, and then on the GT2 they like changed the direction or something of like the way they were, and it's like, okay, your whole argument for the use of this technology was one thing, and then you basically changed it, and you're like, GT2, like, we got you guys.
Yeah, the GT2 it was just so lazy, but.
Yeah, it was super
that's a
lazy.
whole nother topic. But yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on that Vapor 16, because I know it's really hot on the market right now. A lot of people are really interested in it, and I just wanted to see what you thought about it. And again, because we've talked about it, Noah's talked about it, like why use the same technology on different silos? But again, Nike also has a great way of using the same tech but making them feel very different. And from what I could tell, the GX2 Luna 2 and the Vapor 16 Superfly 10s, even though they're both grip knit, feel kind of worlds apart.
Yeah, they feel worlds apart. And what's cool about I was just watching we're freaking getting these guys like all the attention today, but James is like his AG versus FG review, and I think the AG is something that I'm going to be more interested in, only because like I enjoyed the AG. It's different. So the AG of the Vapor is different from the GX2. But they include the air underneath the Zoom Air, so that'll be interesting. So I think if I got one, that's gonna be the one I get.
The AG, really? I think I'm still gonna go with, if I get a pair, because I'm gonna get a pair of Superflies. Like I'm always been a Superfly. I like the way that it looks aesthetically better. But I think I'm gonna do FG.
Okay. Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah.
Whatever I find, might just be whatever I find.
Yeah,
but I did want to say too that, okay, when you were watching James' video, you notice how he was talking about the flex point. Like, let me grab a pair of boots. I'll just grab these. Okay, so he was talking about like on the FG, like the flex point was here, and then the AG, like the flex point was down here or whatever. Remember how he said it was slightly off? Do you think that Nike did that because there's that extra set of studs
Probably.
If you go back and watch, there's like 3 studs on the FG and there's 4 studs on the AG. And I'm wondering if they like purposely moved it or how the plastic kind of sits is what made that flex point move.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's one of those design. Like I need to ask a designer, and
Right.
they could probably give me some.
Yeah, you could. I'm sure. Like if you ask somebody like Subs would know.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, speaking of Nike, you saw some new boots.
Yeah. I saw all of the Mad Ambition pack, which we talked about in the last podcast, but now we actually get to see it on multiple players on feet. I really like the look of that blue GX2. I think that's the best one of the entire pack.
Okay.
Nothing to write home about with the Tiempo. I don't know why, but the Vapor in that blue on that kind of like faded blue colorway, that kind of light
It's almost
blue
like
colorway.
your shirt.
Yeah, it's almost like this. I don't like it.
Really?
Yeah, I really liked the way the prototype colorway looked in that white and blue, and for some reason that, because I know a lot of people are still not quite digging the look of that. The swoosh doesn't seem right. I feel like the shoe should almost be bigger and go more into the toe box. But at the same time, they've got this massive like air on the back, and for some reason when they put it like blue on that blue colorway, it looks kind of cheap to me. Like looking at the high end Vapor in that pack, it almost looks like a takedown for some reason.
Yeah, I could see that. I like the Vapor. I dislike the GX2. And I've got to be honest, man, I really like that Tiempo. Like,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and so I told you before this episode started that I was going to have a hot take kind of feeling. And the reason that this started was because I like Mason Mount. I've always enjoyed watching Mount play. At the end of United season last season, he's always been a Phantom player. He was wearing the Pearl Tiempos, the anniversary pearls. Then at the start of preseason, he was wearing the Emeralds. He trained in the GX2s. And then in the game this past week against Rangers, he wore the blue Tiempos.
Okay.
And for starters, that blue, I don't like blue boots. That blue Tiempo looks so good to me. I don't know what it is, but I really like that blue Tiempo. But because of Mount and just kind of piquing my interest, I think I'm gonna try these out for a little bit, and I'm gonna put out an honest review, like a long-term kind of review with them. So
okay, I think a lot of people have given us flack, or maybe more me flack, about how I feel like I just disregard the Tiempo now, and a lot of it has to do with just because of the leather and the changes and the narrowing of that boot. But I've heard from a lot of people that have thinner feet, they actually really enjoy it. Like I know James really likes that boot. I think Footloose has said he likes that boot. So I think I may be, for what it is, have been a little bit too harsh on it.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I feel like I kind of jumped on it, and freshly coming off the Legend 9 and the Montebelluna, I was like, these are hot garbage, and I just threw them to the side, and I was done with them. But I feel like I didn't give them a real honest long term, and it's like I love my Roteros, but I got to give my Roteros a break too. So I think I'm going to try the Legend 10 for a couple weeks and see what I think.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's that is an interesting take, man. All we ever do is just crap on Tiempo. So now
and all I do is crap on blue boots, and here I am saying that.
I know
that
weird.
blue Tiempo actually looks pretty good.
Within that pack, though, too, there is a Premier 3, which reminds me of one of the old Tiempo 4s. It's a white with a blue swoosh. It looks pretty good. Like it looks very good.
Is it that same Premier that came out before that was blue with a white? Oh, this is white with a blue swoosh.
Yeah, it's reverse.
Yeah. The old one was blue with the white swoosh. Okay, I remember it now. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting pack.
Cool.
And then speaking of Nike packs, there's another one. Your pack.
My
Colby's pack.
Okay, well, this is my pack. Well, I say this because I had a pair of Safari takedowns back in the day, and those were some of my favorite boots. And what I'll say about these is it's cool that they took that Safari design. They used it, I want to say, on the Vapor 6, and then they used it on the Vapor 13. And it's cool to see it again, but now they're also putting it in other silos, which is cool. And I think for our ugliest boots of the year, I said that GX2 Safari boot was going to be the ugliest boot I had seen this year.
Yeah.
I retract that statement. Seeing it in person and on feet, not that bad.
Okay.
So I may, instead of saying that's the ugliest boot of the year, say that it was the Generation Pred. I'm going to put that.
Oh, that one's so bad.
making that change here.
That boot is so bad.
In late July.
I'm not gonna lie, Colby. I saw all 3 silos of the Safari, and I absolutely hate all 3 of them.
Even the Tiempo,
dude, it looks so bad.
The Tiempo looks good.
You know what I think I might have said this before, but when I looked at the sole plate, especially with how they did like the shiny material and the print, it reminded me of like when people were really into that. What's it called? Like the hydro dipping thing where like you would put it in the water and shake it and have the pattern. That's what it looks like they've done on the sole plate. And it looks so just cheap to me.
No, man. It looks, I think it looks cooler. It looks cooler than I thought. Like even with like that neon green, like it looks so cool. So it's weird because on the last 2 versions of this, it was the entire boot was, I think it was white with like black leopard spots or whatever with like an orange. And that looks awesome.
Yes.
So it's interesting that they're going in a different direction here where I believe all the swooshes are black and like it's just almost like that orange and polka dot is like going underneath the boot, which is pretty cool. So, but yeah, I'll say in that, giving the Tiempo love on this podcast. What the heck, man?
Who are we?
I don't know.
It's the heat. It's getting to us. It's making us delirious. No, I mean, yeah, it's your pack. You've liked it from the get-go. I've pretty much hated it from the get-go. I think it's is it the Olympics pack?
Yeah, it's for the Olympics.
Okay.
Yeah, so which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Yeah, so we're gonna have this Mad Ambition pack right now, and I think these Safari ones release on August 1st. So it's another one of those kind of like Rising Gem, Mad, whatever the pink one was called.
Mad
packs,
Brilliance.
So. Mad Brilliance. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, Nike with their names. Yeah, man. So it's kind of cool. Let me ask you this. So I really do like the way that Tiempo looks. Do you think, based off of how these Tiempos have sat on store shelves, you think I can get that one in a couple months for a low price?
Dude, I've still seen the launch colorway, like in almost every size. The only one that you can't really find right now is the pearl. The pearl, especially. You can find the emeralds here and there, but I really think that the bone pair you can, the Mad Brilliance pair you can. Yeah, I don't know what colorway you can't find in that Tiempo.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so it's kind of cool because like I know so it's funny knowing or predicting because we don't know, but
we never know.
Predicting what's going to sell and what's not going to sell. Tiempos won't sell. I don't think the Puma Kings will sell. I'm going to try to pick both those up in a couple months.
Those Puma Kings, I'm excited. I see. My worry is though that if I listen to you, I'm going to end up hating the boot again because. That's kind of been your hot streak. Like I've been right when I'm like, "Hey Colby, you should get this," and then you don't listen, and you're like, "Oh." Yeah. And then you've been wrong because you're like, "Hey Justin, you should get this. You'll love it." And then I get it, and I'm like, "Colby, I hate these. I hate these so much."
The only asterisk with that is the Harvey Elliott tequila. I think I was beating the tequila drum really hard.
You were,
and you enjoyed those.
You do, and I still want more tequilas. Like that's a boot I don't go to. It's not my go-to, but like, it's like my pocket knife boot. Like I'll always keep them on me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I always have them there, and I'm like, my feet hurt a little bit. Let me throw these on.
Great segue, Justin, because New Balance have officially launched the United and Fuel Cell pack, and some pretty awesome. Like to me, maybe not the Furon, but that tequila is I think my favorite tequila that's come out so far. That white kind of like neon and pink colorway, like that's cool.
Yeah, the tequila looks great. I still think the Gray Days is my favorite. Tequila is like a 9 out of 10. The Furon, actually, I really like that Furon.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. The weird little jagged triangle on the outside is a little off.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
I again, besides maybe the Gray Days, those look good. Solid like 8. Yeah, and then the 442. Talk about the 442.
All right. Well, this is something that's kind of making the rounds. It's something that you and I talked about, and then I kind of saw it pop up on James and Andrew's Instagram today. Are they killing off leather in the 442 with this pack? Because if you go and look at the description from a few websites, it has taken the leather off, and it's just said, like, I'm trying to remember what the exact wording was. It said, like,
premium microfiber upper, I think is what is the definition I saw.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, premium microfiber upper, performance nylon outsole. Okay, so that's all it says for material. Okay. So I'm not sure if the leather's officially been taken out. And there's 2 versions. There's the Pro and the Team. And if you go to the Team version actually still says leather. So like what we know from when the 442 V2 launched in late 2022? Maybe like in the summer or May. It was like May of 2022.
Okay. Yeah.
Was that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
23, somewhere around there.
Anyways. What year did we start becoming friends? 22. Yeah, so it would have been 22, right?
22.
Or 21.
Okay.
Was it all the way back in 21?
I think it was 2022.
Okay.
And it was
Anyways.
K-leather. It was for sure K-leather. It was so nice. And that's what everybody was saying. They're like, dude, this is like the best budget K-leather option you can get.
Mm-hmm.
And now to go from that to possibly a synthetic, we don't know. We do know that they have a synthetic option for the 442.
Yes.
But Justin, are we going to see something like the Nike Premier where they just kind of start changing the upper without telling anybody?
Man, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's kind of a rock and a hard place because everybody else is getting rid of leather. So I can see like kind of the temptation / like the push to get away from it. But I think that being so cheap and so good and leather is what the 442 has going for it.
Right.
And it's like they made that one non-K leather version that even on their website like specifically is like its own category, says non-KL. But I just think if they get rid of the kangaroo leather, I just think that boot like tanks.
That boot dies. Yeah,
that boot
it tanks.
Do you think it'll be a plus? The plus they'll change the name?
Okay, this is how I mean, it's kind of weird, right? Because right now we're in a market where essentially, and we've talked about this a million times, and I hate to bring it up again, but everything's going to synthetic leather, like Puma, Nike, Adidas is kind of barely hanging on in that category. So what incentive the incentive they have is to be different, and that's the one way you can be different and be in that market, right? And be like kind of the one American company in that market that's not like ASICS or Mizuno or Adler.
Yeah.
That people would have to, go to certain sites for or kind of get imported. So to me, it's a lose-lose situation. It's like, okay, you're already kind of battling, like we talked about last podcast, the big three. You have a product essentially that is really nice, it's really quality, and it's something that the big three brands do not have at the moment. So why would you shoot yourself in the foot unless you want that silo to go away anyway?
Yeah, that's true. That could be it's just crazy because like it's such a one-man army and it's not competing really. I mean, what's it competing against? Maybe the Icon, but the Icon's $50 more. So what? The Gloro?
Ugh.
And that's it, right? Is the Premier even leather anymore? Or is the Premier still leather?
Premier's like some kind of leather. We don't know.
Well, let's assume that the Premier's leather, the Gloro's leather, and you have the 442. The 442 you can usually get even on discount for cheaper than the Nike or the Adidas options, and it's better. It's better.
Now,
I've always heard that the gold one, you remember the launch gold one that was all kangaroo leather? I've heard that is the best one, but I just think that would be so dumb to be like, yeah, let's get rid of this, go synthetic, and then compete with the big brands again. Because it's like, you don't have to compete with them because they don't have anything to compete with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a stupid move if that's actually what they're doing. I will say that in that 442, they made it into a turf, and that turf looks pretty sick.
Are you going to get you a pair of turf 442s?
I might, but I'm loving these hybrid touch Messis so much. I'll probably have a horrible game, and of course I'm gonna blame it on those shoes, those boots, and sure. That's when I'll pull the trigger.
Yeah, so. No, that's for sure. That might be a 442. Okay. Here's another question then. If that 442 was synthetic, right, but like a very plush synthetic on the turf, do you think that would be smarter? Because I feel like leather, like true leather turfs. Always just leather on any sort of FG. If you play it on turf, it's gonna get tore up.
Right.
Do you think if they switched it to synthetic for the longevity of the product, that would be a smarter move?
I think so. Okay. Here's my other like point here is if you're going to take away, you need to give something before you take something away. And I think that was kind of what we saw with something like the Speed Portal, where they took the Carbitex out and they gave you nothing in return except it was the same price. So if New Balance are doing this, if they're getting rid of the leather, then it's like, okay, then you got to give us a stiffer sole plate. So this pack too, it's also called like the United in Fuel Cell pack, and it does include all 3 New Balance boots. So I'm wondering if like maybe there was an upgrade to the insert of the 442, and we just don't, I don't have the boots in hand. I can't tell you. I don't know if it has like the fuel cell in it or not. But yeah, I would just say like, okay, if you're gonna take the leather out, improve the sole plate.
Okay, here's a question then. You said you got to give something to take something away. Let's say they take away kangaroo leather, they make it synthetic, but they make it even cheaper. Would you take that? Because right now it's what? What's retail on that?
I think it's 130. Oh, it was 130, and I think I looked a little bit ago. Now it's up to like 135.
Okay,
so let's say increase it by $5.
Okay, let's say 135. They make it synthetic, and they bring the price to 115.
I would rather the price go up. I would rather than make it 150. Make it 150 and give me a better, more snappy sole plate.
That is a hot take.
Because this is the other thing is it's a nice wide fitting boot. Like it really fits a lot of foot shapes. So I love the 442. It's super light too. It's a crazy light boot. It's like I want to say in a 9.5 it's less than 7 ounces. It's like 6.8 ounces, which is crazy.
It's a very deceptive boot, like on all fronts. Like it looks like it's going to be super chunky. It's really not that bad. It looks like it's going to be super heavy. It's really not that bad. I think it's as light as like a Vapor was at the time. Yeah. It's super comfortable. The only thing is, that sole plate sucks. That sole plate sucks.
And like you said, there was a ton of separation with that boot as well.
Yes.
So if they could do something where they can like improve the glue, make it synthetic, keep it the same last, because it's a great last for a lot of people. I think I would go up, fix the sole plate, like boom, there you go, New Balance.
There you go.
That's how you break in.
What do they say? You just got to give us a commission and you can have it. You can be your idea.
That's right. All right, man. Let's move on to like the main topic I think that we're gonna have on this podcast, and that is that the Japan Blue Mania remake not only exists, but has released at some outlets.
Yes, it did. And this is the version 2, remake. So this is the... I really thought, for some reason, I was like, maybe they'll just like re-release the same one. Like, how lazy, but it'd be super easy on a material side. But it ended up being full leather, which surprised, I think, both of us.
Right.
And...
it's not kangaroo leather, though.
It's not kangaroo leather. It's calfskin, right?
Right, it's calfskin.
That's confirmed, yeah. So for me, the only things that I dislike about this one are the tongue looks odd. Something about the shape of the tongue doesn't look right, and I can't put my finger on it. And the sole plate. The sole plate looks so bad.
But it's the modern. It's what is it? The control frame 2.0. Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad sole. It's not a bad sole plate. It just looks bad on those boots. If it was a split sole,
yes,
would it look better?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the thing that and maybe honestly, you know what it might be too. This is super minimal, but it might be the white that they used. The white just kind of makes it look cheap and plasticky. And remember, I told you the same thing about the Icon update I saw, the Japan Blue Icon. I said it has this weird white like PVC pipe looking sole plate, and it looks cheap. And that's how this Japan Blue one is. It's sold out everywhere. I mean, I missed out. I didn't get a pair.
Yeah, I think there's going to be another release on the 29th.
There should be. But I mean, also with that caveat though is it's $100 cheaper than the last Japan Blue was. And to me, that's kind of worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a great point. Yeah, $100. Yeah. $100 to not have it be like K leather, for it to be calfskin. Yeah. That's tough, man.
Because the last time that they did the calfskin remake was the Precision Plus. They made that one leather. It had the split sole, but it was calfskin, and I think that one was still like $280.
Yeah, and ironically, the synthetic version, the Hybrid Touch 1.0, is better.
Oh,
in my
yeah,
opinion.
the Hybrid Touch, the Precision Point ones.
Hybrid Touch just kicks ass, dude.
Hybrid Touch 1.0, I told you a long time ago, that's a great upper.
It's
they
the
should have
best.
never gotten rid of that thing.
It's the best.
So good. But, yeah, so this is one of those pairs where it's like, I do want them. I love the Mania. It brings back a lot of good memories. But there's no way. You would not catch me paying over retail for these.
Yeah.
Not a high over. I might pay like $275, something like that. But I know that these resellers are going to have them $400, $450, $500, and this boot just doesn't look like it's worth it at all.
No, man. And what I've learned from my my little Tony Cruz experience is I don't want these. So there's the Japan Blue Mania remake. Mm-hmm. And there's also it's a whiteout essentially. It's kind of like a creamy, like a champagne-y kind of creamy white. That looks really good. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna get fooled again.
Did you see the OG pair, like the black, red, and white pair?
Okay. Are they actually going to release that pair? I haven't seen it yet.
I've seen leaked images of it.
Okay.
And to me, it looks the worst out of the bunch.
Oh, no.
Especially for these being made in Germany. Like, that's their whole push, right? Made in Germany, Germany.
Well, that's the weird thing, is because you know what else is made in Germany is Copa Mundial.
Exactly.
And those are kangaroo leather.
That's like creme de la creme.
Right. It's like, just dye it like you did the countries pack or whatever it was, where they put like Germany and Argentina and all. Like, I don't understand. And those boots cost, I want to say, what are Copa Mundial's up to now? Like that pack was like 180 or something like that.
I think they're like 180.
It was less than $200.
Yeah.
So for K leather that was dyed, like, which is essentially kind of what you're doing, was cheaper than, like, I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
The remake hype is always going to be there. Unfortunately, I think like people want those boots enough and they do miss them. But this is the one that like a lot of the Pred head community that I talk to is just like, these look cheap. I don't like these. Like, yeah, I'm bummed I missed it because I have every Pred known to man, but they're like, I'm not dying to get them. Mm-hmm. And that makes me sad because the Mania is so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this one will kind of be, or maybe because a while back, and I think it's just because we had such high expectations for what remakes were going to be. Like, I remember talking about this with you in maybe like February or March, like, oh man, like that Mania, it's going to be so good. I'm going to save up all my money and I can't wait. And then I feel like the release of, and even going back to last year, the remake of the 11 Pro Cruise boots, and then the white gold pair. It's like, man, these are not up to snuff. And now we're kind of starting to question even the Mania remakes, which are going to be way more popular. Yeah, for sure. This is like, you know how I always like to tell you I like to buy two pairs of like the same boot. Like, I'm always like, oh, especially with the remakes. I'm at the point with this Mania where I'm like, I would probably just get one of these and then get one of the 2020 pairs and save the 2020 pair and then just wear this pair into oblivion. Like, I that's where I'm at with this. And you know me, like, I love the Japan Blue Mania. Like, I always speak highly of it. It's one of the few blue boots I like really love. But I'm just like, I just look at it and I'm like even when I missed out, like, I didn't even text you about it. I didn't really say much. I was just like, oh man, like, that's how I felt. Yeah.
You know, like I'm like, oh my God. And I'm already on like Goat and all these other websites, like circling for them. But yeah, something is just maybe the hype around remakes for me is kind of dying. I don't know.
I just think it's a feeling of getting burned, and they have had good remakes in the past, because like your Eternal Class Absolutes are still like such a nice pair of remakes, and they hold up too. Like, you play in them pretty often.
Yeah, they're beasts, and like no separation. Like, they feel great. Everything on these feels awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are phenomenal. These are probably the best remakes I like playing wise I have right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't even care really to talk about the Mania right now. I'm just kind of like, I don't know where I'm at with this right now. I'm just kind of like, meh. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks, bro. It sucks. It's just one of those things where if I don't catch it, like, it's just getting old. I think like it's just getting old for us. It's like limited edition. Like, how many freaking limited edition boots have we had to like come and go this year for us to be like, It's just fatigue. It's just fatigue on all of it.
And I'm tired of like, oh, enter this website and sign up for this just for the chance to maybe buy them, and we probably won't even get back to you. Like, I'm just with you. I'm just like, I'm kind of over it. It's old right now, and it's like, again, like I like them. They'd be fun to use, but like, I have so many other boots that I enjoy right now that it's like, did I miss out on a pair of Manias? Like, yeah, okay. I wore them back in 02. I've got red ones. Like, meh.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point. Like, that's the most annoying thing. It's like, go to our story, and then you'll find a link where you can go here and enter your information. And then, like you said, they'll never call you back. No. And one thing that soccer.com screwed up on with the Tony Cruz boots.
Oh, yeah, you need to tell this.
Yeah, it was like they said, hey, guys, like, this is going to go live at, I think it was like 11, it was like 10 a.m. But I think it was Eastern time. Yeah, or it was our time. It was 10 a.m. our time, something like that. Well, what happened was they had actually opened that up to everybody on the East Coast, and they all got them first. And so when I actually logged in, like an hour later, because it wouldn't open up, like all of my sizes were gone, and I had to go to another website.
Yeah. And then, who was it that you bought the boots from? They're like, yep, we got your number, like we're all good. And then it's been over a month, and they were just like, just kidding, we sold it.
Oh, that was also soccer.com. What the heck's going on here? Dude, I will say, okay, I got these Day Sparks. I didn't mention this earlier, and I totally should have, from Soccer Village, and they came in like a nice box. It was like the nicest Adidas box, because like the other sites I get them from will be in that like white plastic, like wrapped around the box. It's all smashed up. So the box is like, I mean, not that the box matters. I know everybody says the box doesn't matter, but it was nicely intact. Boots were great. Both boots were in there. I was like, okay, woohoo! Soccer Village.
We're off to a good start.
That's right.
Yeah, that's one of those things. I think it's like anything else. Like, yeah, the box may not matter, but like, you don't want your shit to come like beat up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And again, it's like a lot of the times it is on the couriers, but it's just like, put a little extra bubble wrap. Like, it's not that hard. Even if you want to use that white plastic thing, put some bubble wrap around it.
It's the worst with the limited edition Adidas boxes where you kind of have to like slide it out. Like when those get beat up, you're like, God, you slide it out, but you got like chunks off the top. Yeah.
That's even how my like one of my Pred pairs, like with the old school Pred box where like the whole lid comes off, one of them like got beat up because the courier just like threw it. And so I was like, shit.
Dude, the Pearl, the Tiempo Pearl box was beautiful. And it was like all white and it was sparkly, but like from the mail it had like some like, divots and black crap on it. And then you like open it up and it's just like this nice like velvet interior. It was cool. It was cool. But
I regret not buying those. Such good looking boots.
Dude, go to, has James sold his already?
Yeah, James sold his.
Oh, you punk.
One day. I'll find him one day.
Yeah.
All right, Colby. Well, what else did you want to talk about before we call it a night tonight?
I don't know, man. I'm really excited playing these. For one,
yeah, I'm excited for you to try this.
I'm very excited.
You need to try the comfort, like the comfort insoles in one half and like your speed insoles in the other half.
Yeah, what's weird is like about these comfort insoles is I've heard because when I was testing out the advancement pack, I just used like the speed because that's just what default comes in.
Yeah.
I've heard these are a lot nicer of a ride, but they do increase the weight. And like honestly, at this point with football boots, like I couldn't really give a crap about the weight. Like nothing really feels heavy anymore. Like what's the last pair of boots that you thought was like heavy? You put them on, you're like, God, this is old school.
Probably. Well, it's because they're older though. It's either probably my Laser 3s.
Okay.
Those are probably like the heaviest boots I've worn in a while.
What about your because we play indoor, your Turf Precisions versus the new Preds you just got?
Oh yeah, the Japan Blue ones. No, they don't feel heavier. Not to me.
Okay.
They definitely feel like bigger. Like you can feel the bulk around your foot, but they didn't like my feet aren't more fatigued or anything like that.
Yeah. I don't even know when turf boots started to get light. I remember I had a pair of Tiempo Legend 7 turfs, and those things were. And what's cool about those was it used the same kind of like wiring that would go through it as the outdoor model. So when you pulled your laces, it had those cables that really secured your midfoot.
Fly wire.
So it's the fly wire. So it was really nice fit on your feet, but it was so freaking heavy. And then I think when the 8s and 9s came out, I was like, what the heck is this like wizardry? Like it's so light. And the 7s, I was like, it was great. It was a great locked in feel, but
yeah, for me, turf boots are kind of just, they're all samey because they all have just a giant piece of rubber, you know, like glued to the bottom. Like there's only so much you can do with rubber.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it won't wear out. Same thing with kind of like true indoor models, like, you know, the flats. After a while, they all kind of feel samey to me because it's just a thinner piece of rubber.
Yeah. That's why I think if you're in the turf market for indoor, you can always go with like the first takedown because there's going to be the pro version and they're going to try to sell it to you like, but you can always just go for the one below. Like I honestly still don't know what the difference is between the two Colby models from Adidas. It looks exactly the same. They both have the light strike bottom. Like just like save yourself the $50.
Yeah. Yeah. Just whatever your budget allows kind of thing.
Yeah.
But all right, Colby, with that, I think we're going to call it another short week. You know, season's just started. United's doing pretty good on preseason.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't count for anything.
Okay, that was rude. Colby, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me at Kicking with Colbs on Instagram and on YouTube.
You can find me at Texas Cleat Collector on Instagram and YouTube, and you can find the two of us over at Bootcast Pod on Instagram. And as always, if you like what you've seen, hit comment, hit like, hit subscribe. Tell us what you want us to talk about in the next episode. I promise. Oh, hold on. I just thought of this. Sorry. This is like a total rant at the end. Okay, let me see. Okay. So James Dugmore on Instagram, he sent me a couple pictures and he said, okay, this is what he says. I'm obsessed with the modified Crazy Fast Plus model that Nkunku is wearing and just wanted your opinion. I mean, they look heavily modified on the heel area and it's super low, but aesthetically looks ever so pleasing. Why do you think that companies do more lower cut styles like these? And then he sent me a picture of it. So it basically is what it is. It's the, I'll use my speed portals because they're just low. But basically like, okay, this is gone. So like imagine like a straight bar.
Oh.
And that's his heel. So he does like a really low cut heel. It's like, it's still the synthetic, but it's like this piece, like the part that digs up, that's not there on his. So why do you think that a player like that would A, want that, and then B, do you wish that companies would do that instead of having that little, what do you call that? Like the heel tab?
I know what you mean. Yeah, like this little
little
dilly.
Yeah. So imagine like your F50s, but like that's gone. The little tail. It's just straight cut right there.
Ugh, I don't know, man, because like I've been burned on heels that have been too low, like that.
The King,
the Gen 1 of the King. Oh, it just like it didn't. I hate boots where you don't feel like your foot's all the way down inside the boot. It drives me crazy. So I don't know why he would want his boots like that. Maybe there's some like wizardry on the other side of like where his, you know, like his heel sits lower or something. Like I don't know. That would bother the crap out of me.
Yeah, I think it's super odd. I agree with you. The King fit terrible. It kind of reminds me of like, I don't even know a shoe that I could, like I would feel like I was wearing like, I don't know, like Birkenstocks or flip-flops or something.
Yeah.
Like that. There's nothing behind my foot because I feel like that's the whole point of that little lip is so like your heel doesn't dig up.
Yeah.
Maybe he has something like you remember when Coutinho used to cut the holes? Maybe
dude, I was thinking about that. As soon as you were reading that question, that was a player I was thinking of that I was going to bring up.
So maybe he has some kind of
like heel issue,
deformity or nagging heel injury that he's always kind of had, and that's why he wants it cut so he doesn't have that issue. But yeah, he sent me that question and I meant to ask it like 2 weeks ago, and he's been giving me a hard time. But yeah, so that's the only reason I could think that somebody would have that is like some kind of the shape of their foot would need them to not have a heel stick up like that.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, with the heels, no. And the only things I can really think of is I know a lot of players really wanted to cut down on their knit. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to say, like, Harvey Elliott and Tim Weah were wearing, like, the Tequila Low before that was even a thing, because they were like, this is just too high and obviously needs, like, a laces modification. But I haven't seen any players that have, like, cut their heels like that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so that's strange.
Yeah. So, James, there you go. I asked Colby. We talked about it. If anybody else has any theories behind that, let us know. Remember, I'm pretty sure it's in Cuckoo's who he said it was.
Mm-hmm.
in Cuckoo. So if you have any ideas, let us know in the comments. But with that, we are gonna call it tonight, Colby.
All right,
I'll
man.
see you tomorrow, and you beautiful people, we will see you next week. Take care.
Bye, guys.